On July 5th, 2021, Jeff Bezos surprised the world by announcing his resignation as CEO of Amazon along with his $213 billion fortune. When Bezos retired, he did so 7 years earlier with 172,000 times as much wealth as the typical American retiree. In the year after he retired from Amazon, what has Bezos been investing in and doing with his billions of dollars? I say we find out in today's video. Before we begin, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon to stay notified of future uploads. Now, without further ado, let us get right into it. A costly divorce. The divorce from his wife Mackenzie was the first large outlay of his retirement savings, albeit not a positive one. Mackenzie Bezos, with whom Jeff Bezos has been married for about 25 years, filed for divorce the day after Bezos announced his resignation. Rumors at the time said that the Amazon millionaire had moved on to another lady, subsequently sightings with him with Lauren Sanchez, a former TV personality turned helicopter pilot, seemed to validate the idea. But we're more curious about the divorce settlements, specifically the amount of money Mackenzie received. Jeff Bezos launched Amazon after a pair tied the knot. Without a prenup, the law states that Mackenzie should have received half of Amazon, which would have given her a net worth of $56 billion and made her the wealthiest woman in the world. But in actuality, Mackenzie received 4% of the firm in exchange for accepting the settlement offer of 25% of Jeff's holdings. With the value of her 4% holding in Amazon estimated at a roughly 20 million shares, Mackenzie became the third wealthiest woman on the planet with an estimated net worth of $38 billion. This was a huge blow to Bezos' pockets, removing him from the position of wealthiest man alive and potentially paving the way for Elon Musk to do so. Elon Musk versus Jeff Bezos. It must be one of the most interesting things to watch two billionaires go at it, particularly if they try to outdo one another with their staggering fortune. This seems to be the situation between Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos right now. After Bezos paid $1.3 billion to purchase an electric autonomous driving startup in 2017, the eccentric billionaire Elon Musk accused him of mimicking him. Unlike Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos is not well known for his work on electric vehicles. It's easy to empathize with Musk since he is an uncontested EV billionaire and the SpaceX billionaire. Jeff has also been working towards space exploration, another thing that solidifies Elon's claims to Jeff mimicking him. 4 minutes into space cost Bezos $5.5 billion, and his own aerospace business, Blue Origin. Bezos must have been trying to emulate Musk's success. However, we think that this is not the case at all. In fact, Blue Origin predates SpaceX by 2 years, having launched in 2000. Musk revolutionized spaceflight while Bezos was preoccupied with Amazon. In 2017, Bezos revealed that he would sell $1 billion worth of Amazon shares annually to finance his space goals. So, it seems he needed to maintain his prominence in the space business. As of 2021, we have confirmation that Bezos has been selling his Amazon shares. He single-handedly generated $2 billion in share sales. Unfortunately, it is impossible to know whether or not he had been putting in any of that money into Blue Origin. But consider this, Blue Origin has been losing money since its start, and somehow, it continues to serve its purpose. So it's reasonable to assume that Bezos could have invested in those billions as promised. As such, it's possible that Bezos isn't directly emulating Musk but instead pursuing his own unique path. Mountain clock. One of the most absurdly costly yet incredibly inexpensive luxury things you can ever discover on the market is wristwatches. Watches, which primarily serve the purpose of telling time, might be the most extraordinary priced goods on the market. Names like Rolex or Patek Philippe may cost upwards of $1 million and are typically obvious signals of great wealth. That's not the case, however, since Jeff Bezos and many other top billionaires, including Zuckerberg, Gates, and Elon Musk, wore far cheaper watches or none at all. While $12,000 may seem like a lot of money to you, I'm sure you don't need me to tell you what $12,000 is worth to Bezos, and now that he's retired and just wears a $12,000 Ulysses Nard. Bezos initially had the idea for a big clock that would be constructed into a mountain in 2018, and he has since made up for what he hasn't spent on watches by spending $42 million on an incredible, still in construction mountain clock. He has now commissioned his engineers and contractors to construct a gigantic multi-room clock within a mountain in West Texas. But what makes a clock exceptional, and why does it cost $42 million? Well, on the one hand, it is gigantic, 500-foot tall clock, and most things that large tend to cost $1. On the other side, this clock will be mechanically driven by day and night thermal cycles and synced at solar noon. In addition, the clock is programmed to only tick every once a year and only chime once per millennium. Jeff Bezos has justified this expensive and odd endeavor by saying the clock would remind people that the far future exists and will happen to their descendants in the future. Nobody can say when the project will be completed, but for a virtually everlasting watch, I guess it will take a lot of time. If the project's timeline extends over the current estimate of completion, the $42 million expenditure could easily double or triple, even though Bezos doesn't seem to be going bankrupt anytime soon. If you're thinking of checking out this clock when it is done, You could be out of luck since Billionaire is constructing it on his property in a distant place in Texas for reasons best known to him. Super yacht. Super yachts are the watery equivalent of private jets. Everyone knows it. Most multi-billionaires have boats or often charter ones for leisurely cruising. This practice is so widespread among the top earners that it could lead you to believe that today's billionaires see themselves as a reincarnation of ancient aristocrats. Jeff Bezos' passion for super yachts is so tremendous that Amazon's ex-CEO is presently spending $500 million on a boat after retiring and losing a portion of his money to his ex-wife. Now, on a more serious note, you would think it's a little odd that a 417-foot yacht would require another boat for helicopter landings when vessels that weren't even half its size could readily come with 2 helipads. So, we dug around and discovered that it had to do with this superboat's extravagant, somewhat pointless design. If someone tried to land a helicopter on that boat when it was finished, they'd have to contend with 3 enormous sails. But those massive sails have also caused the ship to remain stuck in the port indefinitely. Because of their height, Bezos spends money on developing them daily. Properties worth $578 million. Land and houses are the only things that Bezos values more than boats, as it is true of most billionaires. Bezos is a guy of taste when it comes to this subset of the market. Bezos has been buying up expensive real estate since the late 1990s, unlike his rival Elon Musk, who has been known to sleep at about a $50,000 foldable house. Bezos spent $10 million buying a mansion in Medina, Seattle, with 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, and a 5.3 acres of land back in 1998, when Amazon was still in its infancy. In 2005, Bill Gates, the wealthiest person in the world, lived close to where Bezos bought a property. The next home was 8,300 square feet and cost Bezos an extra $50 million. The 310 feet of beach on the property was quite a sight. Even after that, Bezos spent tens of millions more buying homes and property around the United States. While the epidemic was at its height, he spent $16 million for a 3-bedroom penthouse on the 20th floor of a high-end Manhattan building at 2, 12, and 5 Avenue. His previous purchases of the same buildings, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th floors, cost him a combined $80 million. He shelled over $23 million to purchase a former textile museum in the posh Colorado district of Washington. After retiring in 2021, Bezos paid another $23 million for a unit of the same historic building where he had previously spent $96 million on 4 distinct residences. The 4,800 square foot property he purchased across the street from that museum cost $5 million. Then, in a move that he should come as no surprise from the ex-CEO, Bezos purchased the most expensive home in Maui, Hawaii for $78 million by channeling his inner Bruce Wayne. Bezos bought the holding company that held the land, therefore, the property was never publicly listed and he never had to pay for it. There's not much information available online, but we know the property spans 14 acres and has a main home that's 4,500 square feet and a guest house that's 1,700 square feet, all of which are designed in the classic Hawaiian plantation style. That's all for today's video, and thanks for watching it. If you liked it, make sure you give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And while you're here, click to watch one of these 2 videos appearing on your screen right now. We will see you there.